Hey, Christy Mattoon here from Mind Rewire. Super excited to be here with you as always. It's always my pleasure to come on and do these. I love doing this, especially when something just kind of pops into my head. And I was going today through a bunch of my notebooks and journals and just kind of reading past notes, client notes. I save a lot of stuff, and I'm usually writing when I'm working with people. I'm handwriting stuff. And then I just have all these piles of notes. And sometimes I will just ask my spirit, can I just get rid of all this? I'll pick up piles of papers and just throw them away. Sometimes I just have them in stacks and boxes and I'm just saving this stuff. So I was going through stuff today and just kind of noticing the flow and the tempo of a lot of the people that I work with and what it is we've been doing. And this is like over years of stuff, right? And one of the things that I noticed was that early on when I started doing this, and I know a lot of people that still do it this way because it's what we were taught, it's what we understood. So I want to give you a different understanding of it today. Is to remove negative emotions, remove negative beliefs, remove. Cutting cords, cut off the stuff that doesn't serve you, get rid of things that no longer work for you, which all makes a lot of sense. Like move it, get rid of it, cut it off. Remove it's the biggest word I keep remembering seeing through my notes is removing blocks, removing negative emotions, removing negative belief patterns, right? It's all stuff we've done if you're into this kind of thing. And I actually just want to show you one of my notebooks here, right? So this is one of the things that I use most often, actually. I'll come through, and these are actually notes from a fellow named Raymond Grace, who is a dowser. But his words are just awesome. And, I'll write my own little cards and things here that I do. I also get inspiration from scripture, from sacred text. This is actually what I'm reading right now, which is a part of sacred text that they actually didn't put in here. And this Bible is actually a Jewish Bible, so it's a little bit different than a regular. These are notes. I don't know if you can see that, notes that I write for myself about things I'm balancing. This is stuff I do for myself every day. I have this stuff written out, and then I go through this every day and I do these things for myself. This is actually an idea of a good friend of mine, and I've kind of taken it from her. But everything on here, I was kind of laughing, everything on here that I have written is about balancing or raising. It's not about removing. And I was sitting here thinking about this idea, and it's not that I've gone through, but I have gone through. I actually have gone through and removed a lot of stuff. And what I ended up feeling was empty, right? So removed. I'm like, I'm empty. Because nobody ever stops and just fills it back up. Like, I guess after you empty it, you just assume that your vibration is going to raise and that you're going to get filled back up. And it never happened. And I think if you come from a home of like significant trauma, if you come from a place where things were not right or lovely, or you weren't taught happiness, you weren't taught how to be in joy, even though it may have been talked about. Like we went to a church and they talked about it all the time, but I never saw it witnessed. I never saw it in action. So I didn't know what it meant. So having removed all the junk, the anger, the fear, the deep sadness. Like for me, it was those things pretty consistently. My cells learned that stuff really well, especially the sadness. And remove it. Well, happiness never came. Joy never came. I didn't understand those things. I literally had to go into places and find those things and then watch those kind of people and then teach myself how to react the way I saw them reacting. This was like at 30 and 40 years old I was doing this, okay? So I had to teach myself how to understand that stuff. I didn't know what it even meant. I didn't know what it felt like. So now when I'm working with people, I'm more on the end of it of let's find a feeling. And if you don't have one, we just create one. Because it's the feeling itself that's the vibration. And if you can learn to live in the higher vibration, all of the other stuff just starts to fall off. It starts to go away just kind of by proxy, right? So we create this higher feeling, this higher vibration, and you start to learn to keep it inside your body. And while we're doing that, we're still removing things. If like significant anger comes up or fear or sadness or whatever, of course I'll go in and help them remove that. But it's more significant to find that higher level feeling and start learning to feel that and be that higher feeling. Once you have that, life just seems to magically change. And I want you to think about this for a second. Think about, how do you remove darkness? That's kind of a cool question. Like, think about it for a second. How do you remove darkness? You bring in light. You don't actually just pick the darkness up and get rid of it. You have to bring light into the room, into the space, to get rid of darkness. And the principle applies, it's no different. To get rid of something, to take out something, you have to bring in something else. Otherwise, you will end up empty. You will end up in this weird void space that doesn't necessarily feel good and won't necessarily teach you those happier chemicals, that happier place, that higher vibration, right? It doesn't necessarily teach your body to get into a state where it can express those better chemicals, just removing the negative stuff. Does that make sense? So what I try and do is I teach people how to feel that higher vibration and then teach them how to walk in it and help them like walk in it. If we need to remove negative stuff, we will, but you've got the higher level stuff to keep coming back to. And that is what seems to make the biggest difference. Because if I can resonate, if I can vibrate at that higher level, when I'm trying to create something or I desire something, that higher level of resonation is actually what makes it come into fruition. It's what makes it happen, right? It's not just the thought when we sit and think about something. You have to vibrate at that higher level too to make that thing manifest. That's kind of the way the whole law of nature works, the law of manifestation, the law of attraction, like all of those kind of things. It's not just by thought alone, although that can change things. It will actually start helping you to change things. But if you can make that higher level vibration happen faster, everything changes quicker. Light comes faster, right? So instead of cutting cords now with people, I actually just did a video on this not too long ago. Instead of cutting cords, we fill up those spaces with light. We go put a really high vibration inside your body, and then wherever you're feeling those cords, those negative energy cords, we shove light through them. We shove that high voltage of energy through them. And the person usually walks away feeling more complete than relieved. When we cut something negative off, right, we're cutting off these negative energy cords and you cut it off, most people will feel relieved, not necessarily complete. When we put high voltage of electricity or energy through it from your system, right, you build up this high voltage, this high amped up feeling inside your body and then run that through those places, usually the word people come back with is like, wow, it's not just relieved, it's complete. I feel whole. Because those energy ports are a part of you. They weren't meant to be cut off. They got crap in them and things got attached to you and started coming to you through them, but it doesn't mean you got to cut them off. It's like cutting off your finger because it doesn't work right. It doesn't make sense. It's part of your system. It's part of who you are. People attach to you for a reason, right? That's part of this whole existence. And if you can just blast high levels of energy and white light through that, what would that do for you? And it's all about what it does for you. It's about in here. If you can stay local and keep this thing doing the right thing, everything around you starts to change. And those people who are attached to you actually get choices and they get the chance to change and alter their existence too. It doesn't mean they'll always stick around. It doesn't mean it's always going to seem what's this most beneficial for them. You can't keep worrying about that. It has to be local to you. What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? How do you feel? And if you can keep that up in a high space, that high vibration, everything around you starts to change. That's my word for today. Happy Sunday. Today's a wonderful day. It's going to be, it's cloudy out and it's probably going to snow, but it's going to be beautiful anyway. I hope you have a great day. I hope this helped. Please leave comments below. I'd love to know what you're thinking. And if you need any assistance, also let me know that too.